Also, I need to make this one a little
Right?
bigger. I can still hear you.
Right now you can.
Yeah. I can hear you, and my head is very warm, and it feels nice.
See, after Double texted me to say that he was on here, I was thinking like, shit, my hair looks like shit. I'm gonna need to wear a hat, and I was preferring to wear the beanie, but I was like, nope. If I wear a beanie this week after last week, I'm gonna get put on blast. Glad to see.
Yeah, you totally would have too. Let me swap that out. All right, edit stream info. Oh man, I forgot to do this before I went live. Shit. All right, so I've named this one State of the League. All right. And, gentlemen, we are live to no viewers.
Solid.
Recording 3.
What up, Chelsea?
Hey, Kills.
Oh, Kelsey, whatever.
Close enough.
Why did you can't? Can you like highlight that in white? I don't think any of those guys would feel bad wearing that in public. Can you outline it in white? You want to do that? I think it'll make it pop. Here, show these guys your. So my wife made a white elephant Christmas gift. Can you read this?
Santa's.
No.
All right,
The green, yeah, not the green.
Yeah, the green they can't read, but it says Santa's coming, and then in the speech bubble it said, "That's what she said."
I like it.
Yeah.
Solid.
Too gray? I just. Who looks like Dr.
The one petting a cat.
He does. He totally
I'm gonna mic bump that, Kelsey. You can't see it, but I'm mic bumping.
I'd just do that. You don't have to redo it, just outline it in white. Or red. White or red.
Isn't he insensitive and ungrateful, Kelsey?
It's my fault?
It's too fucking gray.
I checked with you before I
Gray.
Too
bought
fucking
it.
gray. What the fuck, Blake?
Like, do you even know how to shop for your own clothes?
God damn.
Yeah,
Kids
I
run
don't
around buck
fall
naked playing Mario, can't even buy a shirt.
Kids running around butt naked playing Mario, can't even buy a shirt.
Call Department of Social Services.
Yep. Go for
I'm
it.
gonna get your sister-in-law involved.
I know I'll get the kids back then.
I know.
All right, we're gonna fire this thing up. 5, 4. Hey everybody, welcome to League of Legends Anonymous, episode 259. It is me, your host, Astros, and I'm here with also Astros. What's up, other Astros?
Oh, it's just it's nice to be out on the other side of the fence now.
Right.
You know,
and
out in
on
the
the
free
other
world.
side of the fence, is there a fish market?
Oh, there's more fish markets than you can imagine.
All right. I'm also here with Ukrainian Assassin Astros. Hey, Ukrainian Assassin Astros, what's up?
Da, do svidanya.
Nice beanie you got there, brother.
Thank you. It's to keep my long hair. When I pound the desk, the long hair goes down, so I have to.
Yeah, it can't be looking like the Grudge.
Nah,
Can't do it.
Those Russian infidels would not be afraid of you if you just let that hair go.
Dude, it is fucking hot in here too. Like I'm making sacrifices for this fucking joke.
Yeah, no,
realize
it's legit.
Last week it was Astros making the sacrifices. I was cool with that.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't have a problem with that.
Well, no, I was just thinking like my hair is out of control this week, so I thought I would just
gotta tame the mane.
Put on the beanie to be party in the front or party in the back, all business, right here
What the fuck is going on?
in my business.
The Sensies every week.
God damn, dude.
Is
It's
borrowing
the worst.
cigarettes from strangers.
This is why I don't get any tokens on Chatterbait. This is it. It's the camera.
My business is looking
Yeah.
like Tom Hanks in Philadelphia.
That's right.
Oh God. So guys, how's life?
Good. I'm not sick anymore. I was
You were
really sick
sick?
I was sick last. Dude, you didn't hear me like hawk up a fucking lung on the podcast.
No,
I
you
mean,
didn't.
I
Yours
listened
was
to it like
kidding.
8 times just because of the fucking the
Surreal
Hat
moment.
Fest, and then John John
Oh,
Gate.
John
I
made
mean,
us
like
all die.
that was the best podcast last week. That's tops. It'll
John's
never
a
be top.
goddamn hero.
He is
I mean, that's all there is to it.
exposing the finger food, chicken nuggets, whatever, man.
Diet of the
We can make fun of that all day
Diet.
long. Astros is skinny, and if he eats chicken nuggets all day, he's living the fucking dream.
Yeah.
tell you
Well, I
what.
mean, dude, your metabolism doesn't slow to a crawl until like your early 30s.
Or 8.
What,
You know,
you
based
lost
on my
it at 8?
personal experience. Basically, you know,
You
metabolism
like
slowed right on down about 8 or 9. Like,
really?
I've
that
been fat
sucks.
for life, Blake. Fat for life. Thank you. It's
Oh
good-
man, that
good times.
blows. I'm just
It came
working
in
into
handy
getting
when you're a
fat.
teenage gay kid because nobody expects you to get any pussy. So it's
Right.
like, oh, they're like, hey, why doesn't Randall get all the girls? And you're like, because I'm fat. It's really nice. It actually came in handy.
You just really dropped the mic on that one.
Yeah,
All right,
I'm just
so
being
Endeavor,
honest.
how
I'm
are
not
you
afraid
doing?
to be
How's your
honest.
metabolism?
Well, what are we in for this week? As far as
He just skated right by that question. You're like, how's your week?
How's your week? What are
Endeavor's
we-
oh
like,
yeah,
fuck you, Blake.
Yeah.
But it's okay.
My week's not about dealing with yo ass.
All right. This joke is done. So is my hairline. Whatever. Oh.
doubling down on the hat game.
Yeah.
All right. Are we moving on? This is one of our worst banters. Maybe I'm still high from last week, but this is as far as pre-topic banters. This is some of our worst work.
Yeah. So, Dock Workers Union is here, and
shit.
so
Crossing
we're
the
going to talk
picket
about
line.
League this week. That's the game plan. We have decided that you guys wanted to cover which of the topics, because we beat the hell out of LCS rosters. and that was a
Holy
hell of an
shit, we did.
episode. We still didn't talk about 100 Thieves. Which
We
is
didn't talk enough
probably-
about Dardock.
It was like the most entertaining piece of it was 100 Thieves. Well, we started strong. We were supposed to end strong. and
Oh, we
then
ended strong.
Oh,
we ended
unbelievably
long.
strong.
And then John came and ended this shit with
That
a bang.
was mhm.
And there was just no coming. Like, I didn't want to backtrack.
Nope.
So, either way, I think we'll probably wait till Astros gets back, and then we'll talk about 100 Thieves, because he has a lot of shit to say about LCS stuff, and is probably the most knowledgeable of all.
He knows a
of us.
lot about him and Danger are both pretty dedicated. Danger actually watches like Korea and shit too. I'm like, motherfucker.
Really?
Yeah, dude. I was talking to Astros, which I don't recommend, but I was talking to him, and I was like, dude, how do you? That's like 10 hours a weekend, right? These games, it's like 5 games. There's all the draft and all this shit. Like, how do you do that?
I mean,
He's
you
just
can
like,
round it to an hour a game.
yeah.
Pre and post.
I didn't. I was like, "Do you watch highlights? Do you watch every game?" And he was like, "Yeah, man, I just watch every game." It's like, dude, I don't understand how you sit through like a Golden Guardians clutch game
Yeah.
and retain things. You're like,
I would-
oh, he, you
I
know,
would rather sit through a Golden Girls game.
the Golden Girls is a great show. First
Yeah,
of all,
it is, actually.
nothing wrong with the Golden Girls. It's
No, I
classic.
agree.
It's
Yeah,
still
so,
good.
Me and 3 other lawyers decided who was which Golden Girl in our group text chats.
You're Dorothy.
I'm Dorothy.
Oh yeah.
Sophia, actually. Of the group, I got Grandma. That was me.
I could see that.
She's
I could see
she's
that.
a sassy old bird, and she's
Yeah.
quick,
Yeah.
right? So,
Fair enough.
And so, anyway, after we assigned all these different Golden Girls to each other, I went and bought Funko Pop Golden Girl figures
Yeah.
for Christmas, and I'm giving them each their respective Golden Girls as a Christmas gift.
What a treat.
Did
What
you
a
get
And that one, I
yourself
think I knocked
your
it
own?
out of the park. So anyway, little white elephant there, 'cause I know none of them listen to this. So there we go. Anyway, so of those 5 topics, what do you guys want to talk about?
I think we could talk about the state of the game.
Yeah.
The state of
Because we've played enough to like see how these changes are and whatnot, and then we could do like a tier list. I didn't know what you
That's
guys thought were good picks.
No.
cool.
This is like the only time I can actually talk about my character being a good pick.
There we go.
In the history of ever.
Well, and let's definitely spend a little bit of time on Aphelios. See,
Oh God.
yeah,
So let's
small amount of time.
Let's start state of the game, because like Aphelios is so Aphelios.
I call him something
That
new
guy.
every time. I've
Yeah.
called him Apollinaris, which is a type of mineral water. That's my favorite.
God, this beanie is
Apodopodopolos.
so hot. How does Astros
It is
do this
hot.
shit for
I
a
don't fucking
whole
know.
hour?
And it's not like John keeps the place at 60 degrees. He said that. You know, we have him on
Yeah.
record.
Is this why he's in
We
such
had a clear
bad mood
thermostat
all
reading.
the time?
We need to get him a headband.
Yeah, is this why he's in such a bad mood? Is because his head is on fucking fire all
Fire.
day?
Might
Anyway,
be.
Jesus Christ, man. Anyway,
Do we like the game? Do you like the game?
yeah, do
I like
the game
it.
right now. Okay.
I do.
So specifically, whenever we say state of the game, we're talking about preseason changes, what's happened since. We've had some time to adjust to it. Now it's like, what do you actually feel like on these changes? So, okay, you feel like you like the game right now in general?
Love it.
Yeah.
Best. This is the best it's been since they made the move from hard carrying and tried to make it a team-oriented game.
Mhm.
Okay. Specifically, what do you like?
I love the jungle dragons.
Yeah, Drake's.
It's previously has felt like laning phase lasts for like, even with, you know, Tribute was like, oh, laning phase is over after the first tower, but there's this boring state of the game where it's just like drags on and there's no need to fight, because if one lane's ahead, you just avoid them all the time, and there's nothing to really fight over that much, because the Drakes were okay, but they weren't like crucial. And now you've got a lot of really good action. Specifically, I think that coupled with the changes to EXP, which I first didn't like, and now I actually fucking like a lot, because it makes the bot lane the low. So here's what happened. They basically slowed down jungle EXP after level 3 and slowed down bot lane EXP, so that your top and your mid are going to gain levels much faster. So I think it just,
like, I haven't even really noticed bot lane EXP slowing down all that much.
that's because you never properly teach people to go after the level 2 advantage.
Right. I've never even mentioned it. I should
No.
probably mention it.
I mean,
more.
frankly, you get caught by it a lot.
Yeah, I know. Like, hey, we're level 2. Oh shit. My partner is not forward and I am, and now they're level 2, and
Yeah. No, but I
So-
mean, like in some of the games where I've really felt like stayed top lane, stayed in the lane and just farmed hard.
Mhm.
Like I haven't seen it be uncommon to be up like 3 to 4 levels on like bot lane. So I mean, not necessarily that they're slowing down a whole time. Like it doesn't feel like they're behind, but it feels like it's easier to get ahead if you're actually pushing a commanding lead in like the top lane. You can pretty reliably be up in levels, which is a really nice feeling for being on your island, right? Actually getting something for it.
Well, I will also say that every time I tab and I look to see where I'm at, where the jungler's at, it seems like no matter what, the jungler's always even with me anyway.
Mm.
And so I don't feel like I know it's supposed to be putting me behind. It feels like they missed the mark on that. But at
See,
the same time,
but
I
measuring yourself
don't
against the
want them
jungle,
to
is
hit
that
the
really
mark.
the lane to? Because like with the jungle removing their catch-up XP, unless they're like super optimally pathing and soaking some XP, they're going to fall behind.
Yeah.
At least that's what you know.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Oh,
I honestly, I think
agreed.
they need to fall behind or else they're too impactful, and I think that's a
Mhm.
lot of kind of what Season 9 was. Like, Season 9, it felt like you really couldn't lose the jungle all that hard. Like, counter jungling wasn't a thing.
No.
like
it waxed and waned. Like there was never not a stable point where it was just like counter jungling was ever really, in my opinion, properly rewarded. Because
that's what I'm saying. Like,
I think
why
that's
are you
super
doing it?
important. Yeah.
So
Well, and
it
did
was
you
just
guys?
like, if you're ahead, you just gank, 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 and the
Yeah.
other person wouldn't. And if you were successful, you'd blow the game open, and if not, then whatever.
And there were large chunks where, like, as a jungler, you would be up like 40 fucking farm in the same level as somebody who's just ganking all the time, and that didn't seem right either. Like,
Yeah.
I felt like they were able to soak up way too much exp and stay even. It's like there should be some balance, and there should be a sacrifice made for ganking all the time, and there wasn't. So if you weren't playing a very gank heavy jungler, like Shyvana was worthless. There were a bunch of junglers that are built around counter jungling, built around power farming. There was that weird time where, like, Karthus was big, but he was just getting to 6 and ganking every lane from wherever by hitting one button.
That plus the
That was an
funnel strat.
abomination, by the way.
Not as bad as the Kaisa fucking jungle.
I don't remember that
funnel
being
strat.
too much. The funnel, all funnel strats are just trash.
Glad
RNG.
they did something about that.
Yeah.
At least they did that in a timely manner too.
The shittiest thing about it is I was playing a game of support, I got auto-filled, and my ADC just quit, and I ended up farming with one of the support items or something, like recently, because like they did that with the support items, and they started penalizing me for farming because I had too many fucking mates, and shit was that pissed me off so much. It's like, fuck you, Riot.
Well, yeah, I guess if we're talking about current state, what do you think about the new support items, Blake?
Yeah, I was actually gonna say that. So on the topic of new support items, I was pissed because I was like, I don't want to do more quests. Like, the quest just felt so bad, and it was so, like, difficult to get them tapped.
Lemmywinks, your trials are nearly complete.
So after all this, and I've played with the new items, I have to say the quest is not as bad as I thought it was gonna be. Like, I feel like it's actually because they removed coin and just pick up money, get your free do, and it's
Get
like,
your mana.
yeah, get your mana, and they kind of streamlined how you quest on some of the items.
Mm-hmm.
It feels a lot more. I don't want to use the word rewarding because that is the wrong word, because it's not. But I don't know, attainable, doable. I can't be stopped from completing my support item. I can be delayed.
It's inevitable.
Yeah. And so, and with the whole, like, it's easier to proc executes on minions. If I'm a range champion, I don't have to fight my ADC for, a proc on a minion. That feels so much better. Yeah, all around, I think they're better. I like the earlier game power spikes of being able to buy straight into a meaningful item like Moby Boots or something like that without having to worry about upgrading it. I think that gives me a window in which I can abuse early game and start a snowball, which I appreciate. But all in all, like, and the mid game slowdown.
See, that's my one problem is the fact that it's like if you do a good job early of getting a bunch of your quest done and fully stacking your item, now you're stuck in the middle of the game where your only source of, like, especially on like a mage or something, it's like your only source of gold really is passive, just generated gold.
Yep.
Or and it's like, sure, you can say that, you can get some more gold through kills, but even then, unless you're just hard trying to finish all those kills, then you're only getting assist gold at best. You know what I mean? So unless you're playing like a carry support, you're going to be.
Thing is, like, it really, like, I thought Brand would have been shit on by these changes because, like, you can't keep buying items, right? It didn't feel like it. I mean, I don't really like, it feels slower in the mid game. Like, I can't, if I ride the snowball that I've created in the early game, then I don't even notice a difference. Like, I can just keep crushing, and I'll keep getting in fights, and I'll keep getting more and more. and it feels good. If I don't have that kind of an early game, your mid game falls to shit. Like if you get behind, it feels like you are miles behind because you don't have a
True.
mechanism to stay continue to stay relevant. Does that make
Hmm.
sense?
Well, and yeah, and I think part of that too, maybe even is that I don't feel that in every game, partly just because games do feel like they're more apt to snowball right now. And while we do still have the bounce, see what I like about the current state of the game, and maybe this is moving on a little bit past the sport items,
No, I'm pretty
but
much done with them anyway. That
yeah.
yeah.
Well, and I do hate the lack of the mana regen. I mean, I've been mostly playing Swain support, so if you're hitting your abilities, getting your stacks, you get partial mana back, so it doesn't feel as bad. But on a number of champions there, I'm sure like on Brand or Zyra, spamming your abilities can feel pretty bad, because you're getting low. But as annoying as bounties as like the shutdown system was when it first kind of came out, and as retarded as it was, to have those more than 1,000 gold shutdowns, to kind of slingshot you back into the game. I think they definitely did a good job on bringing those back, and then those combined with kind of the closeout potential of the new Dragon Souls of any of the four. I think it's a better point of the game. So it's like, sure, you can get back into it with some gold, but you're going to have that permanent advantage built through the Drakes that I actually really like.
Yeah,
because it feels like it's rewarding to actually be ahead.
So the one thing I will say, without talking about Drakes, because I want to talk about Drakes and think that'll turn into a longer discussion, is this. Drakes feel like such a meaningful objective that Rift Herald feels like shit.
It's not because
I don't
Drakes.
know.
It's not because Drakes are so good that Rift feels like shit. It's because they over nerfed Rift because
Well, no,
there's
they
two.
over
They
nerfed
didn't,
Rift because
though.
there's two.
Yeah,
But
That's
still, you can get.
it's over nerfed though. Like it's just it doesn't do enough.
I feel like it does, but it does more to the second tower. I feel like I don't know if that is the way the numbers are set up, but I feel like it's not uncommon to see it. Like if top tower is able to be taken by the first charge, if it just gets deleted by the first charge and they're able to protect it the second, it'll still take like 80% of the second tower. And if they have if they set up that 2v1 top, almost every time I'm seeing both of those towers falling.
Man, I'm just saying, like, I would rather have the dragon 9 times out of 10 over
True.
the Herald.
Everybody
Like,
would. I mean,
I don't even think it's a
True.
question.
Well, it's a permanent advantage, yeah.
Sure. So I mean, but I'm saying the Herald feels like a consolation objective or like a non-objective that just occasionally droops off.
very
Like
rarely when we're ahead does my team prioritize the Herald. I think it's something that teams that are behind, like after there's a big play bot lane, particularly to set up a Drake or something like that, you'll see the team that's behind go for the Herald and try to get some plates. Like I see that as being it's more of a comeback mechanic now than it is something that you rushed in previous iterations of the game because you could get so many plates before, and now plates are also worth less. So I think both of those are kind of factors in its priority and its strength. It just doesn't feel as strong as it. I wonder if like they made a mechanic. What if they changed it to where like it does more damage to your tower, but if you use it on the tower, you get diminished plate gold. Does that make sense? Like that might be one way to
map control, but let's.
yes.
I think if you just turned it into like okay, if Herald before was 2 and Herald now is 1, right? Make him like a 1.25 to 1.5, like somewhere in that range. Like give him back maybe like half of what you've taken away and leave there being 2 of them because the dragon went so up in power that you have to, like, the dragon literally decides the game. Like
No, I mean most of my games, each team gets about 2 or 3. Most of my games do not have somebody get into a soul. Very rarely do I get the
What?
Elder, and we're going to talk about that.
Dude,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
back that up.
People FF, man. I mean,
Yeah,
honestly,
no,
before
hold
you
up.
get the
No.
soul. I mean, if you mean by
I have
ending the
had more
game,
games.
I'd say 20 to 30% of games at best get a soul.
yeah, I think that's accurate.
Okay,
You guys are fucking
30,
nuts.
35.
Okay, so I would say more of my games have souls than don't.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, I would say I'm probably the opposite. Like 60-40. Do people
Okay,
get the
maybe.
soul?
Wait,
And
but
then the
60
game
is
ends.
people, but 60 is getting the soul, right?
Yeah.
Because yeah, it generously, I'd say 40% have a soul, and like 15% have an Elder Drake come out.
Less than
Oh
half
no,
of
I've
my
never
games have a
even.
soul.
The Elder Drake is.
I've had 5 games of all the ones that I played where the Elder came into play.
Yeah.
But see, that's the thing is, I think that the Dragon Soul is so fucking powerful that the game just ends before the Elder ever spawns.
Yeah. Or the team forfeits.
Which I mean,
It's a-
objectively,
it's a
which
surrender
the
mechanism.
souls do you think is probably the strongest? Now, obviously, for certain champions, some are always going to be better than others.
I mean,
But-
if I take out like, okay, so if you have a Malphite on your team or a Rammus or
Yeah, like a Cloud or
yeah, then you'd want Earth.
oh,
by the
that
way-
too. Oh, yeah.
I think Cloud
Yeah.
is. I think most teams have most successful folks have impactful metas, like impactful ults.
Yeah.
Like, and it's not necessarily. I don't think it's the actual soul of the Cloud that is that strong. You get a movement speed boost.
It's the
but
two or
it's the
2 or
fucking
3.
20 to 30% extra.
Conceivably 40, but yeah, generally 20 to
Cooldown
30.
reduction on top of your other cooldown reduction. That's really just insane.
I don't know that the Ocean Drake.
Ocean
though,
is number 2 for me. It's just
See, I'd probably swap those two in my book. Like,
that's fair.
well, especially with the fact that they took out. I mean, they took out the mana regen on like support items. They took out mana regen on the basic Ocean Drake. So having that free mana regen is just so huge. Because you just cast an ability on the wave, and all of a sudden you're just back to 100% full.
I end up running Revitalize a lot, and I usually build a Spirit Visage, so Ocean is just even better. Plus, with Warwick, all of that healing is just insane. Like that's so the healing feels really, really good. So does the surprisingly weakest one is actually Infernal.
True.
But I've gotten that one the least too.
Yeah,
Or maybe it's just that by the time you get that one, the enemy team doesn't want to deal with it because it's like it has a perception of strength.
Yeah, well, and you're so conditioned to that last season of, Infernal is the end all be all.
I feel like every time I've gotten an Infernal Soul, I haven't really gotten a chance to like toy with it, you know what I mean, or use it on them. You know what I mean? They just like take their toys and go home. They don't take their LP though. But
I mean, I don't know, man. Like I don't really agree or disagree with you guys because it's kind of a weird thing, right? Like,
see, but I think that's good though, because while you can argue that there is an objectively best one, at the end of the day, if we can't be like, yeah, Infernal's broken, I think they're doing their job, right?
Yeah, no, I was gonna say like I actually think all the Drakes are like on a level
Are
are separated by like a hair in effectiveness.
It's
like,
also so team comp based. Like,
yeah, I don't think any of them are shit. Except I will say that like the one bitch I have is that 3 of those Drakes are useful for everyone on the board, and Wind isn't.
Cloud is not. I agree.
And
that's
I don't
the one
like
issue.
That's the one issue I have because it's like you're Udyr.
Or Jace.
Good. My
or
Phoenix
Shyvana.
punch is up 0.1
Shyvana.
seconds.
Kai'Sa's ult isn't that impactful, I don't feel. Like, I mean,
yeah, it's not like a game changer, but at the same time, like Jin's isn't, Jin's can be impactful, but any of those.
And that's the thing is it's broken on like Karthus or
True.
any of those kind of
really good.
Ash. Oh yeah, Shen.
So I mean, shit, man. Like I don't have a problem with a lot of that shit. It's like it all feels good. My biggest issue with it is that it doesn't work on every champion. Like, oh, I'm Elise. Okay, I can turn back from a spider in point
Mhm.
whatever seconds faster.
But I think you could say the same thing about
Sucks.
Stone not really working on squish champs. I mean, that shield's not going to save you if you're a glass cannon.
It's still a
Yeah.
shield.
And
here's
And
the
the
thing, it's
and the
still a shield.
16%, extra armor isn't
And,
huge.
yeah. I
I mean,
mean,
that's like 8 extra armor on a standard glass cannon, right?
Yeah.
It's 16%, because they'll have 50-ish. So, I mean, not that it's not helpful, but yeah. I don't know. I think it's in a pretty good spot all the way around for the most part.
I don't know, but I'll tell you this. I have never actually gotten to a game where we got the Elder Dragon Death Laser.
Oh, it's so fucking
Ever?
great. Oh
Never
my
done
god,
it.
it's I just
Oh,
played
it's
one.
great.
I just played one. Here's
Especially
what it's like.
someone like Swain, where you have like a ticking damage source, because it's just like tick 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 boom, and then they just go.
And I posted this in the Discord. I'm gonna say it again because this is the way I feel about it.
Let's hear it.
There was a political race with a famous politician named Howard Dean. Howard Dean ran for Democratic presidential nominee, and he was doing great. His campaign was fantastic, and he did this speech where he was like, "Oh, we're gonna do this. We're gonna go. We're gonna win. Yeah!" And Dave Chappelle did a skit on it where he made fun of it. He's like, "Yeah!" And that is the sound that it makes when you kill someone with the Elder Dragon. Go look it up. Like I played it. Every time I think it's like, "Yeah!" It just makes this fucking great sound.
Oh,
They just
God.
die. Look
I
it
just
up.
got hiccups because you made me laugh at a way
Yeah!
that caused air to get stuck in my diaphragm. So that's gonna happen for the rest of the episode.
It's like that
probably.
Swain tick. It's ticking damage. And
Yeah.
you have enough
Or like
hiccups.
Teemo.
Yeah. No, it's amazing. We just played a really great game where they tried to take the Elder from us. We snagged it and then had a fight, and everybody was low. And they did not
Jeez.
do well.
They did not survive it.
It's so great.
But yeah, I mean, that's the thing though. I like that the objectives in the early game actually feel meaningful and force
Mhm.
fights, because that is actually addressing a lot of what my problem with the game was in season 9, because you cannot give up those objectives and still you are meaningfully behind when you do, right?
Mhm.
And so if I am a powerful team and we have map control, we have a mechanism by which we can directly convert map control to victory. And that feels great. And there's still the potential of an upending team fight. There's still the potential for like a pick or any of that stuff. Vision control matters around the dragon.
Junglers, ganking bot lane priority, mid lane priority, all of that shit.
All this shit matters again. And it feels like I can convert an advantage into something direct, and I don't have to just wait around to see if my team loses or not. You know, and that, it feels like I have a mechanism by which I can convert a lead into a victory that's not just, I'm going to snowball the fuck on this dude.
Yeah.
And, granted, you want to do that anyway, but it's like, that's the kind of thing that Riot wanted to minimize in the game, is like, I went
The 1v5, yeah.
Yeah, I went 5-1 and not kill everybody on the board. Like, okay, I get how that may not be fun. I still think you should be able to do that, but whatever. I lost that fight with Riot, I guess. But
Well, and I think the problem with that kind of style of gameplay is it's, what if your top laner just, really shits the bed, and now, that champion just rolls over the rest of the team, because it's not like you misplayed and now he can, beat everyone. It's you're being punished for another lane's mistakes. And obviously, to a certain degree, that's always going to happen with, oh, your bot lane loses hard. Oh, your bot lane picks Aphelios, and now you've lost. And that's still going to happen. But
my favorite was my top laner who picked Aphelios.
Ooh.
And then complained that I didn't camp his lane. I was like, bitch, you are not the win condition. Like, the champ's been out for 5 minutes. Like it hasn't been out long enough for me to cook a tombstone pizza in the motherfucking oven, and you're running the top lane. I ain't ganking your ass. You are a
So
lost
yeah,
cause.
Champion hasn't been out long enough for you to fully
You
actually
know, like,
read the patch
the
notes on
most
what he does.
difficult champ ever. Like Rain Man doesn't know what this motherfucker does. Like definitely, I have no clue. I have
Hey,
no idea what he.
Actually, I do want to correct something real quick that we said
Mm.
that is incorrect.
What is that?
Ocean Dragon does not restore mana.
It doesn't restore
The
mana.
soul does. The soul does. That's what I was saying. The basic Ocean Drake does not restore mana. The soul does.
Okay. I was thinking you were saying that the regular.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Dragon,
Is the
like,
fact
no,
that they
that's
took it
just
out
soul.
of the
The
regular
old one
doing
did.
it?
Yeah, he said he got it right. He
Like,
got
So that's
it
what I'm
right.
saying.
He
Yes,
got it
the
right.
basic one doesn't, but the soul does.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, plus mana and health and blah blah blah. So yep, okay, cool. If that's what we're talking about, then
And that's exactly why I'm saying it's so impactful. Is it's because they're besides mana flow band, which really doesn't do a shit ton besides expand your mana pool. Now, honestly, I really like their changes to Presence of Mind with the expansion of the mana pool. I mean, at least on Alawi, who I play 90% of the time, it actually feels really nice. And it seems like a viable alternative to Triumph that,
So
right?
for people that don't have their shit pulled up right now, Presence of Mind is what?
Yeah. So Presence of Mind, exactly. So it's part of the precision tree. So right, the yellow tree, right? And it's on the same level as, let's see, Triumph. Shit, I don't even know what the other one is. Does anyone know what the third one in that level is? Here, let me see. So you have Triumph,
You have
which
Triumph
obviously.
and Overheal.
Oh, that's right, Overheal. And so what Presence of Mind, it used to really only be taken on people like Karthus and Nocturne, people who have long cooldowns that want to get that back. And so what it did is it gave you some mana back and it reduces your ulti cooldown. So what it does now is it gives you mana back on any takedown, and for your first 5 kills, it extends your maximum mana pool by 100. So when you get the full stacks, all 5 stacks, you have 500 extra mana, which is double the effect that Mana Flow Band will have. So it's actually pretty big, and it's going to give you, I think, 20% of your missing mana back on takedown. So it's really nice for some of those mana-hungry people that don't want to have to dip into the sorcery tree for their secondary. Now, I mean, right now I'm double dipping on my Alawi runes, but it is seemingly, at least for me, like a viable alternative to just taking Triumph there by default. Because at least in the past, I've always taken Triumph, because it's like, yeah, why wouldn't I want heal and a little bit extra gold for every kill?
Mm-hmm.
But in this case, getting that mana back, which on a mana hungry champion is going to allow you. Like I can imagine on people like Cassiopeia, Nivea, or Cassidon, right? Those super mana hungry mages, or Bryze, right? On takedown, as long as you can, if you have enough health or an innate heal like Cassiopeia, right? Her abilities do heal her already. So it's like just having a huge chunk of your mana back right as soon as you take down to continue the fight. Like that could be huge. So I don't know. I'm happy with that. I think what they did is they basically took the ulti cooldown off of that rune just so that they could, so that they could put it onto the Drake without having like 3 sources of ulti cooldown. But yeah, I think it's a good change. I like it. I didn't realize that they made that change until like this week.
And I don't know if this is back to the previous topic, but one of the things I wanted to point out, especially about the Drake changes, is like we were talking about how they got rid of the whole one-man carry thing. And the sacrifice that they made, which I think me and Blake have both hated, is that like the best player should win the fucking game. Like, and it felt for so long.
Should the best player or the best team, though?
No. The team with the best player should probably win the game. When the Heat won, it is because they had LeBron James. You know what I mean? They also had some other players, but like it felt too much like not necessarily the player with the best team won even. I mean, it should, whether it should or shouldn't be that. In reality, what it was is the team with the worst player lost.
Okay, so let me tamp that down a bit. I feel like the team with the best player should win, but could lose.
Okay. Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
And that would be fine. Like that is the balance point that you should shoot for is you can lose, but you should win. And
See,
now like in season 9, I didn't feel like that was the case at all. In fact, it felt like the team with the best player could win.
yeah,
Like
but
maybe.
I think we have a problem there. No measuring like your best player versus your most unequal matchup, right? So let's say obviously in a game with 10 people, you could rank conceivably people 1 to 10, right, on how good they are. So let's say I'm just going to use top lanes as an example because it's generally the most isolated lane. So if you have, let's see, the third best person in the game on one team and then the 10th best person in the game on the other team, both in top lane, like obviously there's going to be a larger imbalance there, and maybe they swing a lead, so they do go 5-1 in lane, right? But I don't think that necessarily makes them the best player. Sure, they're the most fed at this point.
Well, I'm not talking about KDA. What I'm talking about
Okay.
is like a player who is in a bad matchup as a skill should understand like that. First of all, matchups are never like forever, in my opinion. Like, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
for
There
sure.
are windows where if you're in a bad matchup, there should be a point where you should be able to overcome their early advantage. And if you don't
run to the other
shit
lane.
all over your bed, you're going to find a way to do that. And when I say bad players, like, of course, like people lose lane. Doesn't mean you're a bad player. The difference is like the worst player doesn't understand that they've already lost lane and make an adjustment to not cost you the fucking game.
Yeah.
Like that's what I'm talking about.
And that's what I think if we do have a fair evaluation of like who is, the best player, not just necessarily who got super fed in lane. If it is legitimately the best player, then I think that's a fair.
Because sometimes you think your worst player is the worst because they just encountered the best on the other team. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, you
or
got to
they just
make
got
an
a shitty
adjustment.
matchup, or they got camped. Or,
There are times where I fuck up my invade early as a jungler. I'm like, okay, I fucked that up. I've got to change. I can't be as aggressive as I'd like to be. I have to buy more tanky. I have to do things because I fucked up and didn't get what I wanted to get out of that. But sort of to break it down, like let's say like you had a magical power and you could make one of 4 things happen. Like you could ensure that your team had the best player. You could say you had the best team. You could say they have the worst team or they have the worst player. In season 9, if I have that power, I am always going to put the enemy team with the worst player. Like that is the most powerful of the 4. Does that make sense?
I think so, yeah.
Like it's like if I had a magic spell, like a genie was like, all right, you can pick of these 4, what spell are you going to cast? It's like, well, I'm going to cast you have the worst fucking player on your team every time because that is going to make me win the game. And I feel like now that
my team gets that curse every game.
Now I would pick I want the best team with these Drakes because Drakes are a team thing now.
True.
And I think that that's a really healthy thing for the game because there have been games where like, I wasn't even flaming. I wasn't even being an asshole. I was just like, Akali is not going to come online this game. She's not. She's 0-5-5. She's still got a Doran shield.
You'd be like, Mundo top. How about that one?
She's just like, yeah, or whatever. Oh God, I remember that one. But it's like this, and I said no offense. I was like in the team. I was like, no offense. Akali is never going to come online. We cannot count on her. We cannot follow her. We need to let her die. Do not play around this character being a factor. Like, let's just get these Drakes and win this fucking game without her. We can. And I was like, Akali, good on you. You are not going to win this game. You are not going to make a difference, but you are also not fucking us. You are not costing us this game. Thank you. Just keep doing what you're doing. Get a pick if you can. Get strong where you can. Keep playing the way you're playing. You're doing fine. Like, relative to the strength of our bot lane, because our bot lane was fucking killing.
So I want to talk about what I mean by this, because like, this is the joke of like anybody be like, you're an idiot though, because if somebody's beating up somebody else, then you have the best player and the worst player on the other team because he's 5-1 and he's 1-5 or he's 0-5 or whatever, right? And no, what I'm saying is that you can build an early lead, you can get to 5-1, and in the first team fight, the gold balance will shift back. Right? Like, you're going to die in a team fight because you're going to be hard focused by 5 people. Your team will win that team fight because you were in it and you did your business, right? But like okay, so they got a kill on you and they're back 400 or 500 gold swing. And now what matters is like idiot in the end game. Like, who misplays the team fight? Who leaves early? Who gets picked? Who
doesn't step up
doesn't
to
step up?
do
Who doesn't auto
damage.
attack? Who doesn't, whatever. Like,
Yeah.
whoever fails you loses the game. And that has very little to do with who got the strong early game lead, because there wasn't a mechanism to translate early game lead into end game that was clean, right? Because
Mhm.
like you'd have to do a team fight, you'd have to do like a siege, you'd have to do some kind of objective, like, but not objective. That's wrong. Not objective, because it wasn't about that. Like, you just hemorrhage Dragon's turtle and do the best you could do, and then it's whoever gets caught in the end is
Yep.
what matters, right? And then the game is
Mhm.
just over, because they go way too long, because there's nothing to shorten it. Right?
Mhm.
Like, the game lasts too long, so what happened early becomes irrelevant. And then the other end of it is what happens early. Like, if somebody fucking rage quits, that ends the game. So the worst player will end the game by virtue of being a bitch, right? And one could argue that, oh well, the best player made the worst player rage quit. No,
Mhm.
I have a jungler who rage quits because he failed a gank at level 3. Like, nope, that guy's just the worst player on the team because he has no mental and he quit. Like, he voluntarily made himself the worst player on the team. And that loses me more games than being good wins me. And that was super frustrating about the end of last season.
Oh, but Blake, Riot really punishes people for doing that.
Yeah, they don't.
They do a
Oh
great
my
job.
gosh! Earlier today, I had a game where our jungler was late to connect. Probably, I think, reconnected about the 2-minute mark. So definitely got a late start.
By the way,
But
why can't we like change the reconnect rules to be a little bit harsher? Because like at 3 minutes, the game has already been fucked for a minute.
true.
Like, the game starts at 1:30. If you connect by 2 minutes, you're still 30 seconds behind on everything that's important and relevant.
Well, not just 30 seconds behind, but you're also 30 seconds from. If you're a jungler or a laner, you're 30 seconds away from. So you're really a minute behind, right?
Yeah,
Because
you gotta walk to
still
lane.
need to walk to lane.
But that and
Or
your
walk to
team
your
has
camp.
made suboptimal decisions
See,
based
that's-
around the perception that you might be late.
That's what
So we
happened.
can't,
Our
you know-
jungler connected late, and he would have been fine, to get back on track. But our jungler at the 2-minute mark decided, hey, I'm just going to end to kill because this game's going to be remade. It wasn't remade, and
Yeah.
he tilted off of that and went like 1-10 into a Darius. And so even though we played well bot lane, didn't matter, So in that case, yeah, Darius steamrolled us because he was so far ahead. But it was purely off of just that, poor decision making off
See, I
of
mean,
not
like,
understanding a remake.
I honestly think even with Darius steamroll, I mean, Darius is one champion that you really don't want to have steamroll because he can 1v5 if he's.
I mean, and their jungler got ahead too, and they camped our mid, so it was like,
And that's kind of something I was talking about earlier. Is like Riot puts this effort into, no one player should be able to carry the game, and then they make a whole class of like 15 champs that can do just that. Like, there are still champs
Aurelia,
in the
Riven,
game.
Darius.
There's still champs in the
Akali.
game that can do that 100%. Like, if
Well,
they
I mean,
get Darius is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, that's the thing though, is none of those champions are played in support.
What about Swain support?
Not good enough. You don't have the gold to translate into a true powerhouse. You have a gold to translate into a second mid, but you don't have the gold to translate into a super hyper fed mid.
Yeah, not a hyper carry, yeah.
But I mean, isn't that the nature of the role?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, is like, that's my frustration, is I can be.
I think that's okay though. I mean,
well, no, I can get super far ahead. I can put 10 kills on an ADC and not win the game.
Yeah. I see what you're saying.
And that's bullshit, because like, if I put 10 kills on my ADC, we should get all the dragons. We should get like everything around us should be our territory or whatever. And
Yeah.
it because we're on a power like we have power. We should be stomping our opponents, right? Like that 10 kill Darius. But we don't get that. Because ADCs are glass.
ADCs are
So-
weak right now.
See, but I don't think that's necessarily a weakness with the ADCs. I think that's, because that's also just a weakness with who you're playing with, right?
I think
So
ADCs are probably about as weak as they've been since they absolutely nerfed marksman.
I mean, they're a little stronger than they were when people completely stopped playing them.
Yeah.
But like, I
think they're in a fine spot.
I think they're fine. I just think that like relative to everything else, with everything else now, not only nothing changed for the benefit of ADC, and we are behind EXP even more dramatically as a lane, and that emphasizes that difference even more. Because
I
it's
think
hard to
some of
beat.
the item changes are beneficial.
Well, here's the thing. It's hard to beat a 5-kill fill in the blank as an ADC because you have to like dodge all their abilities and continuously attack them until they die. But like it's even harder when they have a 2-level lead on you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's nigh impossible. Like you have to make some kind of fantastical outplay to be able to pull that shit off.
Mhm.
Right?
Particularly
Yeah.
if you don't have a lot of peel.
Yeah, and I mean, right now, like, to be completely honest, the one change that I thought I was completely underwhelmed with that has actually been fun, alcoves.
I like alcoves. I was waiting to see if you'd like alcoves. I said alcoves would be fun. I said it from the beginning that alcoves would be fun, and they are.
I've done some shit with alcoves. I've made some plays with that. I still don't like the fact that there's 3 lane bushes instead of 2. But
I mean, top lane was already like that, so
yeah, but bottom lane wasn't. And
But that's-
we
I-
used to
I
be
think
able
it's-
to ward well, and now
I know, but
we can't.
I like that. I like the less ward. See,
It's less impactful with top lane because you don't have another player sitting in that bush ready to hook you.
true.
Like,
but,
I mean, that's
but what
the
I do like
problem.
about it is it forces you more out into the middle of the lane. So it's like if you're trying to gank as a jungler, they're bound to be more centered in the lane rather than just hugging the wall.
They just play
vision.
out towards more the river too. Like I think you see a lot of that.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean,
And I think that's a
the
good thing.
The problem with the bot lane bushes is like before, the bush was like fucking that long. You know what I mean?
Like a
there were 2 of them.
1970s bush.
Yeah,
like a
like
good,
like nice and
a
thick,
good pet house.
Good and
bush.
full.
fluffed. You know, dear listeners, if you're wondering what we're referencing because you're too young, we're talking about vintage porn. Look up vintage porn, and
Like
you'll
Joe
see,
Biden's vintage trim mags.
You'll see some pretty thick shrubbery.
There's
out
a
there.
whole generation of young men that are never going to discover their dad's porno mag stash now. It's all digital. What a tragic waste. What a treasure trove.
Vaginas had hair. Anyway, so these poor kids.
What a rite of passage.
Who
to discover
knew?
that. Oh my
You know,
god.
I didn't know it did that.
You gotta be
Okay.
careful, man, because if you see that shit when you're too young, that shit'll turn you gay.
Yeah,
That shit looks
yeah.
nasty as fuck.
That's what happened. He was totally straight until he
That
saw some
was
vintage
funny.
porn. And he was like, oh my god.
No
My
more
brother
that.
showed me a set 1970s Mad magazine. That woman's bush went up to her fucking belly button. I was like, nope, I think I'm gay.
Never got over it.
Check it out.
Never did. I remember the exact moment. I was like 9 years old. I was like, that's gross. I think the neuron never stopped firing. Thanks, Mad Magazine.
Thanks, Mad Magazine. This week's episode, actually, I'm changing the title to Mad Magazine Made Me Gay. So, we'll probably get a copyright claim on this one.
Yeah.
Episode
I don't know. It's free advertising. Right?
59, Mad Magazine Made Me Gay. So, anyway, so yeah, that being said, the 3 bushes is kind of a weird deal because they're only like that far apart and they're like that long. So you can't effectively hide in them, Because like that was the other thing is the other ones gave you this kind of zone presence because it's like, ha, you can't shoot me and I can get really close to you. But now
Mhm.
it's like, oh, I wonder if you're 2 pixels this way or 2 pixels that way before you're visible. So
True,
it's
but
like
both of the end bushes are longer, are
the end bushes are legit,
oddly shaped,
but the middle bush is
and you can
useless.
sneak around them in that little alcove. It's great.
That's
Let's
again,
start calling it the perineum. Like the bot lane.
you're making science jokes here, man. Like, you know,
The taint alcove. You gotta
the
go
taint.
around it and up to one
Call it the
bush.
taint. There's a hole right there at the end.
That's right. There's this little stump. Like,
Yeah.
put a
Everybody's
ward in there.
sensitive about it.
Be
Place-
careful. I was once in there and I discovered a poisonous mushroom.
It's kind of swampy. Just smells terrible. Anyway, so all right, I just killed it.
Sorry,
All
I
right, we're
derailed
done.
it.
We're done with
What'd I
alcoves.
do?
I'm going
I like
nowhere near.
alcoves.
Alcove's good though. Alcove's
I said
good.
you would like alcoves. I
Yeah,
said
I do.
alcoves would be
I do.
cool.
I actually
I'm
do.
calling it.
You know, it's actually like alcoves are the blast plant of this year.
I don't think they're
Like-
that impactful, but they're pretty
No,
cool.
no, no. I mean the plants in general. Everybody.
Blast
like,
plants make a big fucking difference.
well, blast
sometimes.
plants do, but I mean plants in general.
I think yeah, what you're trying to say is like
everybody's-
you're unsure about them coming into it.
Yeah.
And they turn out to be
They
not a bad
should
addition.
put a blast plant in the alcove. That would be cool. That would make some outplay
They should put
potential
a
there.
fucking jetpack in the.
They should put the Poro
No.
King. You call in the Poro King.
There should be like a portal between top and bot lane
Oh
in
my
the
God.
alcove.
Oh no!
Yeah.
No!
No, but you got to like channel it or something like that. So it's like a 5-second channel. You got to hop in there. Any
Portal?
damage interrupts it.
And then Bard can make another portal back to your fountain. So if the enemy top laner comes into that portal, it reroutes him into the
By the
fountain.
way,
and dies.
I'm still a little bit pissed that Bard he can't connect the fountain to the alcove.
I mean, that's a little bit OP.
I mean, but there's a straight line. Before it was on a curved surface, so I understood.
As long as Yumi can't follow him while he's doing it, I'm okay.
Oh
with
yeah,
it.
they killed Yumi being
They
able to
did.
teleport in.
Teleport.
I think
God
honestly,
damn.
Yumi's a fucking dead champion now.
I hope so.
With the
That fucking
changes
bitch
they
never
made.
should have been alive.
Well, no, because like they've made her to where
Omar.
the jump
she gets
back
CC'd.
in is more difficult. The cooldown is longer. If you get CC'd, you are fucked.
Yeah.
And then like, what else does she have? Like, what else is good about this champ? You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
good riddance. Fuck that cat.
Yeah, fuck
Yeah,
that
that's
champ.
one of the champions that I never need to see come back into vogue.
Let's make a champion completely based on interact, like
The opposite of
inability to
interaction.
interact. Yeah, whatever that is.
Hey, quick question. Since we're still talking new preseason meta, what do you guys feel about the Baron? Like, it feels they didn't do anything to it, but it feels
they did.
competitively weaker.
They shortened it, I thought.
Yeah, they shortened the duration
It's
to like
3
30
minutes
seconds.
instead of
I think.
5, or what is it? What is
Well,
it?
no,
I
I
think
mean,
it's 30
sorry.
seconds shorter.
Whenever I say they didn't do
Strength of
anything to it,
Baron.
I meant like it's
Like-
not like Dragon that they made it like exponentially stronger.
Yeah.
You know, like that. Like
It was
they
so much
largely
stronger
didn't-
already that I think they just kind of evened them
It
out.
went from 210 seconds to 180 seconds.
Yeah, so it's
Okay.
30 seconds.
They lost 30 seconds. I mean, what do you guys think? Because like I haven't seen the Baron being all that impactful like it used to be.
The problem is that by the time Baron is up, like that's your Dragon Soul. I often find, and I think that there's also like the team that's ahead. What I usually do is like, we're like, all right, we've got the lead. Our 4th Drake is up and the Baron's up. Let's see what they do.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Because if they, you know, depending on your team comp or what's going on, like if they've got no Drakes and you've got 3, you can get a free Baron off that. And likewise, you know, you can try to steal a Drake, your 4th Drake off. Like 4th
Hold
Drake
on.
is definitely better than
I'm
Baron.
gonna interrupt you. We had all these ideas for the alcove, but Twitch chat came up with the best one.
Oh, let's see.
And that was the alcove is where you hide your dad's old porn.
Iceman 1494 came up
Shout out
with
to
that. You should get a
Iceman.
little love for that. Make sure he gets a shout out.
Good man. Good man. Anyway, you were saying.
I don't know. You said dad's old porn.
Yeah, he said old
It's
bitch
reminiscing to
porn.
that
And
vintage.
Double's
Feel
like,
like this is
right.
karma for what I did to you earlier when I brought up porn.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, I just think that like it's a timing issue where too often the Baron coincides with the super quintessential Drake or the quadressential Drake is Unit 4, but like you don't want to if you've got a serious Drake lead, you don't want to relinquish it because if you've got 2-0 on Drakes or even 3-0 on Drakes, it's just like you can capitalize that advantage for a later Baron and sacrifice a Drake for a better Baron and get an inhib, which leads to other Barons. I mean, sorry, other Drakes. You know what I mean? So I have seen more often at the 22, 23-minute mark, Dragon priority just because of what it means.
Mhm.
And a lot of times in a close game, it's like 2-2, and you know it's like fuck the Baron, like we need to get this Drake because that's a huge either insurance policy for us so that if we miss the next one, it's not catastrophic, and it puts them on the pressure. It's just such a pressurizing mechanism. Whereas
Like,
the Baron,
I will
you
tell you
could wait
this.
out now. You know
One
what I
thing
mean?
that I would like to see Riot do is every time that the Drake spawns, I want it to get much stronger. So it becomes a
It
little bit
does.
harder to take. No,
Well,
I mean than
the
it is
first two are
now.
weak. The
Yes,
first
I
two are
understand.
weak, and then
Hold
it gets
on.
stronger on the
Hold on.
third.
I understand it gets stronger. I
You don't
understand that
understand, Blake. You
I
don't.
I understand that it you,
Hmm.
I've read your poetry, Double. I understand. Uh, so
See,
anyway,
what if they give it
anyway,
a mechanic kind of like the old Rift Herald, where it's a lot harder to take solo than it is with a group? Because I think that's one of the things is why like people like Warwick, why people like
Don't you
Nocturne.
fuck with my wolf. God damn it.
No,
Don't you
why they're so
fuck with
strong is
my
because
wolf
it's
right now.
like with no items at level 4, right? They can just walk in and solo take it, right?
There are a bunch
You
of
know,
junglers that solo the Drake.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. Is that a good thing? Because it's like you don't need bot lane pressure. You don't need mid priority. All you need is a standard ELO team that doesn't have a ward on the Drake at 7 minutes or not even 7 minutes at 5 minutes, right? Why would you ward the Drake at 5 minutes? So it's like they just walk in there and unless you're super unlucky and the other team's already warded it, like Drake's just gone.
I feel like at the gold level, like it's really only a disadvantage that you create for yourself if you're not picking a jungler that can actually do this.
True.
I mean that's the
True.
only real problem is that like it does eliminate a decent chunk of like assassin junglers, except for Kha'Zix, and Kha'Zix only gets by because of his isolation damage.
Mm-hmm.
But like Evelyn, probably not a great jungler for this map.
Yeah.
There are lots of junglers that just aren't. Somehow Echo makes it. I guess he's an assassin, but I think he's more.
He's Echo.
He's assassin-y, but not like he does a lot. He has a lot of utility and a lot of AOE damage.
and a lot of
Yeah.
damage.
Well, and a lot of single target
And a lot
damage.
of- yeah.
And speed and
Oh, and
No, but I mean, I think
Rewind.
assassins always have single
Reverse.
target damage. You know what I mean? I think that's an assassin is defined by lots of single target damage and a get out of jail free card. Echo's just got a ton of shit. But no, I mean those would be interesting, and I think that they've got a decent foundation to make these types of changes with, and we've got a whole preseason to do it. I kind of like the way it is now, and people should be on notice that they have to do this. You know what I mean? Fuck, I had to try to rearrange my entire jungle play style around ganking all the time instead of power farming and counter jungling. So fuck them. I'm
Like
in a
a
place
lot of-
where I'm happy with it. I don't want to change.
A lot of people were super mad about the jungle path thing with like the kill 3 mobs, get level 3, and they hated it.
Love it.
And I don't know why that's a problem. Like, I get what people are saying is like, well, you have to kill these certain 3 mobs, you do whatever, and I'm like, I don't really feel like anything you're saying is terribly bad. And it creates kind of a rush to gank line, right?
There was an entire meta where you literally had to take one camp, another camp, and then coin flip over a fucking crab. Like for months. And if you couldn't take a crab, tough titties. End of game. Like you had to have a strong level 2, level 3 jungler, So the whole level 3 variety is awesome because really it opened up the door for machete junglers because really there was such an advantage to lantern junglers because you needed the Krugs or the chickens to get level 3, and now you can just get it off of Gromp. And with the changes that they made to Tiamat, that's another thing you got to factor in too. It's like Tiamat so much was changed to be more expensive. So that was a big nerf to machete junglers like Warwick, like Jax, like these folks who need that to clear quickly. So I'm cool with it. I love it right now, and I think people understand there's going to be a gank level 3 now. Ideally, my path is the same on red side every time. Blue to Gromp to red. And from red, I'm figuring out I'm either ganking top, ganking mid, or what I'm usually doing is invading the other jungler at their blue. Because that wins me the fucking game 9 times out of 10. Because then I just know where they're going.
Wait, your blue side, you go blue to red?
Wait, sorry, whatever the top right side is. That's red side,
That's
right?
red side. Okay, I was
Okay,
like, wait a
so that's
second.
what I
You
mean.
go to the top of the map, go to the bottom, and then
Start with the
get
bottom.
on up to the top.
Hit Gromp, take my red, I'm level 3. If they take an extra camp, I will meet them when they are weak at their blue and fuck them up. Then I take their Gromp.
Yeah.
Then they're either going to their wolves or they're going to their Krugs, and I'll meet them there and fuck them again.
Just describe pathing like a swastika or something. Start here, go down there, come across, back down. Then I go to the top right, this way, back down.
I don't give a shit what it does.
There.
I don't care if it's an Onk, it's a swastika. I'm not changing my path. It's fucking working.
And after that, the jungle is pure.
God damn. I'm usually the one making inappropriately on the border remarks. Maybe I am.
What, Nazi jokes aren't safe anymore? I thought Nazi jokes were safe since 1942. We won the war, guys.
Ooh.
Well, we won the war. They've been the villain in everything. Forever,
I'm into historical Norse
terrible.
reenactments, so it's a touchy subject for us. We've got a lot of white supremacists trying to steal Norse imagery, and it creates all kinds of problems.
Did you say people are doing World War II reenactments?
No, Viking reenactments.
What?
Modern Nazis. Yeah, I do Viking history. I do living history with Viking reenactments.
Yeah, but Vikings didn't fight the Nazis.
No, but Vikings had the swastika was a Viking Norse sun symbol. It's been used all over the place, and Nazis are co-opting a lot of ancient Norse symbols and putting them on their shit. So when people do Viking reenactment, people are like, "Oh, you must be a Nazi." It's like, no, those people are fucking pussies, and they don't have any good techniques with their shields. They carry shields.
No, those people came way later.
Yeah,
is what you say. Nope, totally different time period.
Sorry to go off on a tangent there.
Note the beard.
We're an hour in. Do we want to do a quick S tier list?
Oh no, fuck that. Let's talk about the tournament. And yeah. So everybody knows that the Vikings fought the Nazis in the Battle of Blurg Canyon down the river of
Kwai,
Iceland.
Astros' grandfather was there. It was a sea battle.
That's right.
He stabbed a Nazi with a narwhal tusk.
He actually sold fish on both sides.
Actually, the beanie is historically accurate to the times. It's full of Nazi symbols.
It actually is.
It doesn't have the horns on it, though.
Yeah, we've covered why. So, led the crossing of the Delaware. Anyway, so fast forward. We're doing the LOLA tournament. That's on right now. And everybody seems to have questions for it. And,
there's a whole channel for that.
Yeah, we created a whole channel for that. And so I will say this. I have really enjoyed it to poke Zill with this. But I think he's ready to just, C4 his own house and just fake his own death and disappear. With all the people asking him questions that he's answered 100 times in writing in the Discord. So if you guys have questions, check out that channel in the Discord. It's like an FAQ for all of this.
This isn't hard. Yeah. Right? And I'm going to be mean here. This isn't fucking hard. It's supposed to be fun. You're getting, the winners get $5 fucking, right? I think. Like,
Yeah,
is
something
it,
like that.
and it's like, oh, we need a sub. We need to do this. There's no prestige here. There's no
Oh
fucking
no, you
reward
do get
here.
like a
No, you're
gold.
not. If people keep acting this way, we're taking that off the table. We're taking it
No,
off the table. Make an
no,
executive
your
decision.
name does not appear in gold on the
Fuck
Discord. You
you.
piece of
Yeah, the
shit.
way this is going. And I mean, this is kind of my idea. So I feel bad that Zill's catching a lot of flack for it. But the whole idea was to like have not necessarily a tournament, but a long, drawn out series of games, and people can just figure out when you want to play. It's not difficult. And I think what happened is a lot more people signed up than we expected. But if you focus on solutions, the solution will become obvious to you. If you focus on all the problems, then the problems will become obvious to you. So like instead of
That's profound.
finding all of these like, oh, but this is blah 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 blah, why don't you just fucking find a way to fix it instead of expecting Zill to fix it? Like chances are you can find a sub. It's not hard. Don't be a fucking dick. That's the rule number one always in community games. Don't be a dick. It's a $5 RP reward card. Like let's try to have something fun and do something different and make it work instead of trying to tear it down from the get-go. That's my rant on this because that's what I'm seeing people doing. Is saying, oh, well, it's blah, 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 and this is a terrible idea and all this. Well, great. If you think it's a terrible idea, then fuck off. You don't have to participate. Like, that's it. It's really that great. You know what I think it's a terrible idea? Brazilian bikini waxes on my fucking crotch. That's why I don't sign up for them. There are lots of things I don't think are great ideas. And guess what? I just don't fucking do them. It's really that simple. I just live my life that way. I'm like, that looks like a terrible idea. Smoking crack. Not going to do it. I'm just going to not do that. Although if I had to choose between a Brazilian bikini wax and crack, I'd probably take crack. And if I had to get a Brazilian bikini wax, I'd probably take a hit of crack rock before I went in there just so it wouldn't hurt so much. But we're getting into personal decisions right here. So that's a part of my rant too. Like, it's really that simple. If you think this is that bad of an idea, then you shouldn't have fucking signed up. It's really that simple. But if you did sign up, just do it.
You have an odd mix of personal opinions. Because, literally you just said, hairy vaginas make me gay, but you also have a very anti-Brazilian perspective.
Whoa. On
So,
me,
like,
baby. On me. No.
On
There's a
you.
big,
Oh,
there's a
that's the
big
lie.
difference between
That's the lie.
preferring your partner being shaved and subjecting yourself to having your butthole hair ripped out with hot wax.
Okay. So what you're saying is you just prefer a fire dragon jungle.
I prefer any weekend
bush.
that doesn't involve somebody taking a wax strip to my taint and ripping all that shit out. That's a buzzkill.
To your alcove.
That's right, to the alcove.
Your alcove. And we've brought it around. Good night, everybody.
Wait, whoa. There's one more. We extended the duration of the tournament since people are having issues connecting and we had more teams sign up. This just happened while we were casting. The tournament will run through January 31st. So you've got like 2 to 3, like 2 weeks now at this point, 15 days to schedule teams and get things going. Try to make it work. Just try. It's not hard. If you have questions and Zill's not answering, ask me and I'll see if I can't sort it out too.
Yeah. Zill's going to kill himself if you guys keep asking questions he's already answered. So let's not make that happen.
No, he'll kill you. That motherfucker just got a car.
He will kill you first.
Yeah, the only reason he hasn't killed you is because he didn't have a fucking ride. He's got a ride now. He'll track your ass down.
So bitch got wheels.
And the problem is Blake is the closest one to him, so he's scared. He's
and I
keep
poking him by being like, "Oh, that's a good question. Why don't you ask Zill? Why don't you ask Zill? Don't read about it. Yeah. Ask Zill directly. He loves that.
You're gonna hear that motherfucking VW roll up. It's gonna be click click.
We're in the same chat channel when I'm saying this to people. He's like, I fucking hate you so
Mentally
much.
Zill.
He's like, no, don't do that. Blake's just trying to piss me off.
Deranged coffee enthusiast / atheist murders family of 4 in Catskill.
Someone else's family.
Local murders local unprominent attorney.
Town says, eh. Town quoted as saying, eh. So anyway.
Christmas shirt was too gray to make out. Should have been highlighted in white.
It was. She came back and highlighted it in white. It's much better.
That's true love.
It's true love. I told her, man.
We need to kiss Patreon ass.
Oh,
Blake,
yeah.
What's the state of kissing our ass on Patreon, people?
Hey, Patreon people. Thank you a whole bunch for your support. I know, like, holidays are a thing, and a lot of people have saved money for that. We've had a dip. But we're still paying our bills and we're able to throw on this tournament, and that's thanks to the support of you guys, and I really appreciate that. Um, that being said, like, yeah, I know we're not like $1 million stream that makes 55K a month like fucking Dominate or anything, but like we enjoy enough support from you guys that we don't have to worry about how we're gonna have to pay for the website and how we're
Fuck
gonna have to
Dominate. I
pay for
want
the
Hooney's 2.6 million fucking
yeah
dollars. I'm still
2.6
mad
mil
about that.
guaranteed over 2. I'll take that. Somebody pay me to do that. I will
Fuck,
podcast 24 fucking
for
7.
real.
Every day you will get 8 hours of podcasting from me for 2.6 million.
I get a Brazilian for 2.6.
We'll do group Brazilians on film for 2.6. I don't care. Like that's
Endeavor is not nodding along. He is not. He is. He is
he's already
just trying
warming up the wax pot. I don't
He's
know
doing the
what
Homer
Yeah.
Simpson walk away into the bush.
No, he's like, I'll do it right now. Maybe somebody will give me 2.6 if I
2.6 million.
if I get started myself. Anyway, so
Hashtag Lola Brazilians.
but yeah, no, thank you guys. We really appreciate it. Thank you for your support. If it's gonna be a stress on the holidays, do your holidays first. That's more important than us. But if not, and you still want to support the podcast, we would really appreciate it. It helps us keeping us able to do things. It helps me buy equipment for the guys that need it. And
Did you get any equipment, Endeavor? Where's your equipment? Did you get any? I haven't gotten
Yeah.
any.
Send him a
It's
fucking
weird.
webcam.
Yeah, that's why you can see me right now.
Motherfucker, I need a goddamn webcam. My shit's from
Why
1970s.
did
Speaking of
the first
1970s
face
porn, I got an 8mm motherfucking webcam going in and out. I can't get a fucking webcam.
Yeah, I noticed that your beard kind of looks like a 70s crotch.
Hey, how's the top lip though? Top lip is growing, baby. Look at that.
So
Healthy.
seriously, you want a webcam? We'll send you a webcam. We can
No,
put
it's
money
fine.
for that.
I want to
Okay.
remind people that in the holiday spirit, Patreon donations to Lola are the gift that keep on giving.
Yeah. You know, I look at it this way. You could walk into like the mall and there's somebody ringing for the Salvation Army.
And they are homophobic, and fuck them.
And you
And the
could-
people ringing the bell are working off hours for DWI convictions. Never forget that.
And so you could give to those terrible people, or you could give to us, so we can continue to make vintage porn jokes, and take shots at Mad Magazine.
Now, if the tournament attitude gets better,
And/or fishermen.
I may or may not mail the winners a holiday stash of quality Joe Biden era penthouse pornos, baby. Like I'm talking 1970s gold,
Dude,
gold.
you
Gold
better
era.
be careful because you probably can't, because a lot of these people are kids. So you gotta watch that.
Bullshit.
Well, yeah, we do skew mostly.
I
higher
haven't
than
fucking
18.
heard anybody whose nuts ain't dropped in the Discord,
Yeah, you're right.
except for Rachel and Ashley. Those are the only two people whose testicles have not descended.
And they sent me vintage porn. So anyway, with that, I think we've covered everything. Thank you, Patreon supporters. We really appreciate you. If you guys can't support on Patreon, you want to do something, we have a couple more avenues available for that. Sub to us on Twitch. Eventually, we get money out of that somehow. But I've gotten 2 checks over like a year for like $100. So that's nice, and that helps. And I do Amazon Prime, and so I get that for free. So
Yep.
every month I just resub to the podcast, and eventually it adds up to we get something. So if you can do that, if you're an Amazon guy, toss us your sub, please. I mean, these other guys, they don't need that.
Boost our
We need that.
Discord too.
And then boosting the Discord is the other thing. We are at 16 boosts, which is nuts because I did not even think we would get that high. But at 30, we get some more cool shit. And if we do get 30, where we have a 100 meg upload limit for all members, I will unlock file uploads for the server so everybody can take advantage of that. And then the reason I don't have files uploaded on the server is because the shit that people were uploading was awful. So maybe if we get back to level 3, we can, encourage some kind of like what's the word I'm looking for? Not maturity, because that's too much to hope for, but something along those lines, and then I can leave on the server uploads.
Also, don't be shy if you want a VOD review. If you remember
Oh
the
yeah,
community.
Yeah.
Shrimple. I have been trying to get a hold of you for 2 days. I have not left you hanging. I've looked for you every night, and you're not on. I will do your VOD review. I have not forgotten. So yeah, if you guys want a VOD review or you want some coaching, hit us up.
Keep in mind they'd usually take an hour to do.
Yeah, they really do. So
Also, I'm looking for anyone who top lane mains. I know we have a shortage of those, it seems, in comparison to support mains, but I'd love to hop in a session with anyone looking for some top lane advice. I probably don't have any good advice, but I'll give a lot of it.
Mm-hmm.
So quantity is
you made a mistake.
probably going to outweigh quality here.
You made a mistake. You did not pick Alawi. All right, I'll see you next week. You work on that. I'll see you in 2 weeks.
All right. Good cast.
Good cast, guys. Good night, everybody. Third time.
Oh, you could do better than that.
All right. Good night, everybody!
Still got the hiccups?
No, I got rid of it like midway through. You did give me the hiccups, though. That really happened.
What I do, baby.
Yep. And I think... Now we're still uploading. It'll be a second. All right. Let's see what the stream says.
Yeah, Tag told me that he
Thanks,
was trying to
good
talk
job.
some shit, but I didn't see it because I wasn't part of the.
Oh, I talked some shit.
Man, I'm really happy with the amount of like vintage porno chat we had in this.
Yeah,
right?
I said that was great.
That's been a goal of mine since I got hired.
Iceman said, "Screw Swain support, haha, especially you and Deverett." And then I said, "Agreed, Iceman. He is a pile of turds."
I heard that there's a small negative reaction to
here's what Endeavored Swain support's like. It's either like he does really, really fucking great, or like he doesn't. And there's this point at the 16-minute mark where he's always like, "Hey, wait a minute, guys. I think I might be feeding." And he's like 2-17.
Yeah.
He doesn't realize it. He's like, "Guys, I think I might be feeding this game."
So what you're saying is it's like every game with Endeavor.
No, he's about 50-50. Who invited me to a game? Oh, Zill did. Ooh. Oh my God. Who's going to be the fifth?
But are we still streaming?
I think so.
Yeah. I thought so.
I haven't pulled out my balls yet.
Hold on. What's his name here? Where is Rubachubby? Where is he in my friends?
Who's Rubachubby? That's the best name ever.
No. Okay. Shit. I told him I'd play some games with him here, but our lobby is full. Do we have enough for a 10? So we have Tag on. I have. Let me see. So we have 5 in the lobby right now. Let me see how many people I have online. That's 1, 2, 3. I got at least 3. We could do 4v4s.
You know, I think we should hereinafter refer to red side as Viking side and blue side as Nazi side.
Jesus.
Here, hold on. I'm gonna prove it. I'm not gonna do this. I wasn't gonna do this on the podcast.
Well, you're still on stream.
Where is it? Oh, I can't find it. Fuck. Oh yeah, here it is.
What's up?
Viking beanie, right here. Boom. Historically accurate Viking hat. Yeah.
You look like you're gonna sell pipe weed in Harry Potter.
Not done. This is the good Viking hat right here.
Zill, how many games do you have in you tonight?
Here we go. This is the fucking jam right here.
Yeah, okay, but what's Nazi about that?
Nothing. No. The swastika is a Nazi thing. Like, it's fucked up because my friends did a Viking wedding.
The swastika comes from like Hindu.
No, it comes from a lot of different things. Like,
that's what I'm saying. Like it was co-opted from 100,000 things. But if you're doing Viking, you just probably leave off the swastikas. You probably have 100 other symbols you could use.
So you can kind of see it in here, but like this is some some hand woven trim. And like if you look right here's the center. See how it
Yeah.
kind of looks swastika-ish, swastika like.
Yeah.
That's kind of the symbol that the Norse used a lot.
I just thought that was your jungle route.
Nope. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's why I'm doing well. I should play Olaf in the
Oh, why didn't I make that connection?
Yeah.
That's why Olaf's good. Viking Nazi jungler.
That's why I ban him.
Yeah, we ban him, so
I do ban Olaf.
that'll teach him deplatform him.
But no, it's called a sun rune, but it's there. And like my friends got a Viking wedding, and they got this like historically great looking garb. They got outfits from Ukraine, and the lady that made it like totally put swastikas in it because in Europe, like historical Viking reenactors don't give a shit. They recognize it, but in America, holy fucking shit! It created this giant shitstorm. Because people got caught wearing it, and they got people took pictures of some prominent folks wearing like vivid swastikas.
Viking
and
Nazi.
Here, I'll show you.
Neo-Nazis don't want you to know this about Viking culture.
Yeah.
So where is...
I'm back. Here you go, Blake.
Alright, I'm gonna turn off the stream. I'm literally flipping through pages of Viking culture.